rewatching and sometimes it's all pixelated.
Yeah.
Are we live?
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
What's up, amigos?
What's up, guys? So today's all sorts of weird with today's episode of Diving Donuts with Jared and
Grant.
That's great. I'm Jared. What's up? So basically, we normally do this at like 8:30 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. Is today Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, every Thursday.
So we got the day right.
Yeah, but the issue is it's just there's just some scheduling conflicts on my end this evening, so we're doing it now. But we normally do this on Facebook, but Facebook is a fucking bitch sometimes and has been cutting us off like super early. So we're just gonna make this our YouTube show and then post the link to Facebook.
So I've been having some like video issues on
I know.
Facebook. So YouTube it is.
YouTube.
What's up, Facebook? Or not Facebook.
So I just like to point out that
So this is dieting and donuts, but unfortunately we just had lunch, so there are no donuts.
yes, I mean I had 2 donuts at like 3 this morning.
I'm using the donut complimentary coffee, so it's
I
basically
mean we have a box full of cream-filled Long Johns in my kitchen.
they're in here. We might eat one afterwards. It's hard to say.
Yeah, fair enough. But
So I guess we didn't even like give any warnings or anything as to what
Zero.
we're talking about. So
I'll make a post here in a little bit about it when I post the link.
So, and I know we just decided this. So we're talking about. I know you got this written down. We're going to talk about workout tips for home.
Yep. So yeah. So we're we got how to handle cookouts, birthdays. I just spit everywhere and holidays while on a diet.
I think that'll be a good one.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into how to. This is my favorite. How to handle unsupportive friends and family while losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last part. Then we're gonna finish her off with basically at-home workout tips when you're not making it to the gym and you gotta use ye old basement or ye old office or ye old backyard.
So do we want to just go ahead and jump right on into it?
Show them.
So I guess, do you want to start with the first one?
Sure. My brain is not working, so I had to.
Cookouts, birthdays,
Okay, so
holidays.
here's the thing that
Because it's about to be that season.
Yeah. So yeah, guys,
we're
I mean, always you're gonna run into like going to the nephew's birthday party, but you can't not have cake when it's your nephew's birthday party, or you're gonna go to a graduation open house and there's gonna be food. You're gonna have, your favorite pizza and someone's gonna order. Or you're gonna go to cookouts and Christmas parties and dinners and all this stuff. And this is where most people struggle with the mesh of basically making their lifestyle and fitness goals make a beautiful baby together versus they're just like, no, they're separate,
right.
which is what we have a huge problem with. So my thing is, there's a few strategies that I have that I like to teach people and clients and stuff. But one of the things I'm a big fan of in terms of the principle behind all of this is control what you can control, because you are way more controlled than you think you are. So if you go to let's say you go to, a barbecue, and literally everything there is just like stupid high calorie and all over the place, and it's like, wow, I have no choice but to eat this food. You're right. If you're gonna eat, you gotta eat the food, but you have control of how much of it you eat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of like fits into the whole premise behind like the name of our show, dieting and donuts.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you can lose weight while eating donuts.
But that's the thing. You go to these events, and but you don't have to go back for seconds. You don't have to gorge yourself. You can stop when you're full.
Right.
You can get, even if it's like straight, like like completely fried food with more fried food on top of it, dipped in grease. Like, you don't have to eat like your body weight in it. You can enjoy anything in moderation.
Right.
So even if you go to an event and there's cake, pizza, and ice cream, you can have adult-sized portions of cake, ice cream, and pizza. You don't have to get 7 pieces. You can have 2 pieces. You don't have to get 2 pieces of cake. You can get 1 piece of cake.
Right.
You can have 1 big dollop of ice cream and not 7. So I think a lot of people have more of too much of an all-in, all-out mentality. When they go to these events, they're just like, fuck it.
Like they use that as okay, we're just going to eat as much as humanly possible
Right.
because we're at this event.
Which is garbage. It's just an excuse. So at the end of the day, controlling what you can control is massive. If you can't control what someone's making, if you go over to like your in-laws' house or your boyfriend or girlfriend's house or whatever, you don't want to be rude and not eat party. So you may not be able to be in control and own what you can control, which is how much of that food you're eating. But the cool thing is, this is my number 1 tip, and then I'll let you give some of yours. Basically, at most of these styles of events, these kind of events, they're pitching style. If you go to a cookout, usually you bring something. You bring chips, you bring hot dogs, you bring hamburgers. Or drinks, or you go to a big Friendsgiving, you contribute. Most of these events we contribute, right? Bring shit that's for your goals. Even if you're the only one that eats it. Like, I promise there's gonna be enough chips and hot dogs, but if you wanna bring a veggie tray, bring a veggie tray. If you wanna make some grilled chicken, bring some grilled chicken. If you wanna bring your own low-calorie potato salad, bring your own low-calorie potato salad.
Right.
People go wrong is like bring stuff that's for your goals. That way you know that's what you're able to drink, you know? So, or eat, drink, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess we could also give kind of like strategy type things. So I guess, you know, kind of I'll jump in. So like first and foremost, generally speaking, you know, you're not going to have a string of these where you're going to have a grand scheme. You have a birthday once a year. You know, like this year I've been to like maybe 3 birthday parties. You know, nothing substantial. So, you know, that said, you don't really, like, one day is not going to make or break ever, right? You know, it won't. I mean, simply it can. Now, you know, that might throw off your deficit for the week, but that's 1 week.
Right.
We have
kind of the 52.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's countless other weeks. Just get right back on track. But now, if you do want to do it, you know, do what Jared said. You know, portion yourself. But I guess we can do like more like specific little tips. Like one thing that I would always say is to drink plenty of water beforehand. So like before you even go up to the buffet table at the cookout, at the birthday, drink a couple glasses of water. You know, I guess another one that you could do too is, you know, instead of loading up something of everything, so you know, you got your potatoes, your meat, your cake, you know, instead of just getting this massive plate with everything, a little bit of everything, just, you know, maybe have your meat, go down, eat it, and then maybe drink some more water.
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, so we have what's called like elastic hunger, which basically means like, so biology shit here. It's basically a survival mechanism where if we have a copious amount of food in front of us, we can fucking eat that thing.
And then you get food go later.
Right. So, like, it's actually in our biology to be able to eat just a copious amount of food. So that said, you know, our hunger cues probably aren't going to, or our satiated
cues,
your satiety cues are going to hit immediately. So, you know, that said, like, you know, spread it out. Go get one thing, and then, you know, eat it. Wait a minute, you know, 5-10 minutes, and then go back.
Yeah.
You know, don't do it all at once.
Well, I like eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full, eat when you're hungry again.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the event, you're hungry, eat. Stop when you start that full feeling in your stomach where you're satiated. Stop eating, even if there's food on your plate. And then, if you get hungry again, then go back.
Right.
If you want to get really specific strategies, I'm a huge fan of doubling up on protein and plants and cutting down everything else by a quarter to a half. So if you go to a cookout and there's normal cookout food, you know, let's say there's hamburgers and hot dogs, which are really
here. So let's say you have a plate. So like do what you're about to do, but like give it in a plate percentage.
Yeah. So like double up on, well, even if it's not in a plate, like I like to like double up on your normal portion of protein and plants. If you normally have 1 hamburger and probably 0 plants, like if they had like broccoli, double up on protein and plants. So have maybe 2 burgers and a big pile of salad.
Right.
And then now first of all, you're gonna be more satiated, you're gonna be full for the lowest calorie-ish stuff, more than likely that's gonna be at the event. But then all the other stuff that you would normally overeat, because most times, like, yeah, all calories count, but most people don't overeat protein and plants.
Right.
Most people overeat all the other stuff.
I don't know if I've ever met anyone that has overeaten on
Chicken and broccoli.
Yeah. But now, like, salads, you can overeat on salads.
Sure.
Because you get the high-calorie
Dressings and stuff.
dressings.
And cheeses, yeah. So, but like, otherwise, I'm a big fan of loading up on protein and plants. And then everything else, dial your portion back. So if you normally have a pile of broccoli salad the size of your face, or I'm not wrong, like potato salad the size of your face, have it the size of a baby's face.
Yeah.
If you normally have 5 or 6 pieces of garlic bread, have 2 or 3 pieces. Like whatever your normal is, dial it back. But which sounds really like almost juvenile, but like the concept of doubling up on protein and plants and dialing down everything else, you will inevitably eat less.
I want to bring up, I don't know when you posted this, it was one of your pieces of content, and this is kind of on topic, more restaurant, but it just made me think of it. You made a post one day that was like, skip the bread or skip the appetizers.
Yeah.
Like, kind of same principle here. Like if there's I guess you have appetizers and stuff like that, like before like the burgers and shit are done, there's always like,
cheese trays.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
just, skip that stuff.
Yeah, keep your big ticket items in check, your protein, your plants, and all a little bit of the other stuff. That's why you don't want to be like exiled at or feel exiled at these events where you're like bringing your Tupperware chicken, rice, and broccoli.
Yeah, don't ever feel like you should do that.
Yeah, this is where you can have both. You can have all that you can eat for your goals, and you can also still enjoy yourself. Because I think they also like Grant mentioned that these aren't all the time. And if you just go and have fun and then get right back on track, it's going to fix most of your problems. Most people go to one of these events on Friday and then they binge eat till Sunday.
Yeah.
Versus if you like go to your nephew's birthday or go to your buddy's cookout or go to your housewarming party and eat accordingly all the way up till then, enjoy the event, then get right back on track. You're talking about a little moment in time.
Yeah.
But another one that I like is if because most of the time these events are pre-planned. This weekend you're going to your buddy's house or whatever. But the thing to know is you can also dial back calories ahead of time.
Right.
Because even if you can't count and track calories at these events because you don't know what things are using, what sauces and pills and all that stuff, if you know you're going to go a bunch of food this evening at a cookout, be easy leading up to that. I'm not saying starve yourself fast, but I'm saying is, you may not add the extra bread or add the extra pasta and potatoes. You might not go out to lunch that day and go out with your friends that night. You may just know what's going to happen that night. It's like money. If you know at the end of the month you have to pay a big bill, and all of a sudden you have to buy a new car at the end of the month, you're probably going to conserve your money leading up until that point. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, let's go on vacation and buy the fucking car, because then it's like, oh shit, you ran out of money.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of thing.
Calories is you would.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, and then I know we'll always say to eat it, but if you're one of those people and this will kind of lead into our next topic too. I don't know if we want to jump into that yet, but if you are one of those people where you're like, nah, man, I don't want to eat this. Like, I want to be 100% consistent with my diet. Never feel like you cannot bring your own thing of Tupperware. Never feel like you have to, but if that's something that you actually want to, then by all means do. You have to do what you want to do.
Right. But it all depends on where it's coming from though. If you're like, I'm so fucking scared to eat at my buddy's barbecue, I feel like I have to. In my opinion, that's a bad reason to bring it. But if you're like, no, I'm like super dialed in on everything, and I really want to keep everything in line, then don't feel bad for it. I know a lot of people who bring like travel size food scales in their back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I think they call it Jacob's scale. It like folds out into a giant like ninja throwing star that's like this big, and they like collapses down into the size of your iPhone, but you can unlatch it and whatnot. So I got puppers underneath the table.
We got a good Lily over here. Well, I mean, this might be a good time of day to transition to the next thing, which is what to do with unsupportive individuals.
Oh yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I think this one is huge.
I would agree.
And I really think that well, I don't know. Do you want to jump in first?
Sure. So I have a couple trains of thought with this.
And do we want to just go for I guess this kind of encompasses everything. I mean, but we'll just focus more on fat loss.
Yeah, it's as a whole. But that's the thing is we all have unsupportive friends. But we're talking about specifically along the lines of your fitness goals. I'm not necessarily career bullshit like that, but friends or family who are not supporting what you're doing. Not the fact that they have different goals, the ones that are blatantly not supportive. Or you go out to dinner with your friends and they're making fun of you because you're the only dieter at the table. Or you have a spouse that you like going to the gym every day, but you're with me. That's the kind of relationship we're talking about. An all-encompassing topic because every situation is different. Every family-friend dynamic is different. And how you handle your spouse not being supportive is totally different than your friends not being supportive.
Well, so let's start off like this then. Do you have any situations in your life personally where you've had unsupportive family members or anything like that?
I mean, right now, not a whole lot. At the end of the day, you have to do what's right for you. So part of it is you might have to get a better circle. That's why it's different with friends than with your spouse, because you're not just gonna divorce your spouse because they don't like the gym. But if all the friends that you go out with are like, oh look, Jared's on a health kick again. If that's the kind of crowd you hang out with, there's a level of you might have to limit that association. Toxic and unsupportive people who make you feel fucking bad for pursuing goals, you may have to ditch those friends, because I promise there's 8 billion people on this planet. There's going to be more people who want what you want.
So now I'll just jump in there and say, so people kind of just go out of their way, bust your balls about stuff. So this is so I did for those of you that don't know, I ended up for back issues. I didn't go through with it, but I was in prep for a men's physique competition. Mm-hmm. And so, I dealt with this a lot where I would go out to eat and I was always the person that because I really wanted this. I was meticulous with everything that I was doing. And, I a lot of people gave me a lot of shit. Wow, why aren't you eating that? You're looking unhealthy and this and that. And just a lot of the times I think it's people don't understand your drive to do something. So if you're passionate about losing weight and this is something that you've been wanting to do for a long time and it's something that you really want to get after, I guarantee you that same group of friends that's being hella toxic, if you told them, look, man, this is something I've been struggling with for my entire life.
Communication.
I'm finally doing it. I just would love a little. I've never met someone that after you tell them that that's your goal, this is what you want to do, they will never do that again.
Well, and here's the thing. And if they were to do it, it shows you a lot. Then you need to fucking drop kick them in the face. But that's the thing, is most people are scared to communicate it. If your friends are busting your balls and are offending you, and you're getting to where you're wow, is this a toxic person? Conversation should be look, Grant, I know you're just kidding, but those things they make me feel bad because I'm working really hard and it really makes me uncomfortable when those things bother me. Chances are, Grant, if he's a normal fucking human being, he would go, I'm so sorry, I had no idea, I thought we were just joking around.
Right.
Because most people won't communicate the fact with their friends that hey man, I'm really trying here, something that's really hard, so a little bit of support would be awesome. Because at the end of the day, there's a couple reasons for your friends not being supportive. First of all, are you just, I mean this to sound too much, but are you just being a little bitch? Most people are too sensitive. You can't take a joke. Most people this is where it's case dependent.
So tip number 2, don't be a bitch.
Yeah, case number 2 is don't be a little bitch. Where chances are they don't mean any harm with what they're saying.
True.
So a lot of it is, if it really offends you, tell them it offends you. But second of all, they're probably just joking around because they can't relate, so they're just being a jokester. We all do that. We get uncomfortable, don't know what to do, so we make jokes.
Yeah.
But the other part is you might be making them a little scared they're going to lose you too, because you've been homies forever, and now all of a sudden you want to do something that's a little bit different, and your lifestyle is deviating from what theirs are, and there may be a side of this where they're scared to lose you, because now that you leveled up, let's say your lifestyle of working out and eating, and you don't go out as much, and when you do go out as much, you're not ordering the Fat Boy hot wings, and you're bringing grilled chicken strips with you. Part of it maybe is just they're uncomfortable and they don't want to lose you. Where now, and basically poking fun at you, they're oh, maybe this will bring him back down.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, a lot of these issues of unsupportive friends and family, good communication fixes it all. But there's a level of it. If you have people that are just blatantly mean and bullying you, drop them.
Yeah. I'll give a personal example here, because I really think that there are probably, it's very few people out there would not be supportive. So, my last year of college, my last year and a half of college, I was very much so into the health kick, right? So I, ate the same 5 foods every single day. I was at the gym for 3 hours, Monday to Friday, and then, an hour and a half each day on Saturday, Sunday. That was my life.
Every day.
And so, and part of that, so I was in a fraternity, right? And, a fraternity, great group of guys, but a big thing that they love to do is drink a lot. And, so I didn't drink for that year and a half. And, at the beginning they were oh, what the fuck are you doing, man? Have some fun. But once you open up and tell them why you're doing this, and they see how passionate you are about something and the drive that you have,
That is your
just goes
biggest
away.
support system.
Yeah, literally that went. So I mean, a fraternity. Keep in mind, a fraternity. Just a big group of guys, 100 plus guys living in one building. Great friends that just want to drink and have a good time. If they can support me to not drink and eat weird foods constantly,
Right.
then I guarantee you, everyone can.
Because that's the other thing too, is expressing that, and just like you did, and having the right communication can take that from them poking fun at you to them being the ones in the back cheering for you. You know what I mean? So a lot of it is like, a lot of this issue with friends and family can be fixed with either getting rid of actually toxic people, actually communicating. I'm telling you, everyone's scared to have a hard conversation.
Right.
So it's easier to whine, bitch, and complain about your homeboys and homegirls not being supportive than actually have that conversation. Be like, look, Brittany, this really bothers me when you say these things.
Right. So now, like, I know with friends, it's probably pretty cut and dry. Like,
Sure.
9 times out of 10, they're probably going to be, your most supportive crowd.
Right.
But, if they're not, maybe you should rethink why they are your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But so now let's go on to
Spouses,
the more
partners.
complicated ones, the ones that you
can't
can't
just get rid
necessarily cut out of your
Okay.
life. Family, the spouses.
Yeah. So if it's your family, like, I haven't heard as much with like kids and stuff, but let's talk about your spouse or partner, because you can't just be like, I can't be like, sorry, Shelby, I'm divorcing you because you think I spend too much time at the gym. Like that's that we can't just do that. But the thing is, now you have to look at it from all sides, because this is why it goes so many different ways. My first thing is if your spouse is very not okay with you going to the gym and being in the fitness place, I would question how much you are supporting your spouse back with stuff you don't give a shit about. So if, like, let's say, fellas, if you're spending a good amount of time at the gym each week, and your wife is just like, man, you spend so much time here, we don't spend enough time together, does she have merit? Are you spending 3 hours a day at the gym and don't spend any time with her? Then if I was the spouse, I would be upset too. So you have to understand it from both sides, not just get defensive.
Right.
But also, when was the last time, like in this scenario with the fellas, like if all of a sudden the guys are at the gym all day and the girls aren't, when was the last time you showed support to your spouse about the stuff that you don't give a shit about? Like if she's into pottery and you don't, when was the last time you went with her to a pottery class, or just asked her how her day was with pottery, or if she's into, like, I don't know, what else are girls into? Like that kind of thing is
Anything and everything.
right. It's like we can be so quick to be like, no, why aren't our spouses supporting us? But when was the last time you made forth a proactive effort to love and support on stuff your spouse is doing that you don't give a shit about?
Right.
Like, for example, I'll give you an idea. For about a year, I've been back in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know for a fact Shelby does not give a shit about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a nerd with it. I enjoy it. And I go pretty balls to the walls with it. Like, I do my normal workouts and I go train jiu-jitsu another 3 days a week. So, like, I'm gone a lot doing stuff. And I know Shelby does not want to do jiu-jitsu, and she doesn't give a shit about jiu-jitsu. But after every single class, I come home and she asks me, hey, how'd jiu-jitsu go? What did you learn? Did you roll with so-and-so? Oh, you won? Okay, tell me about that. How'd that go? And it's just not like blind asking questions. Like, she's legitimately engaged and wants to know about what I enjoy. Therefore, we grow and bond over stuff like that. And just due to the nature of wanting to reciprocate, I naturally want to be supportive of her. It's that same kind of thing. You have to show it on both spectrums. But then there's also the side is, this is the fellow, you guys are going to hate me for this. I would almost wonder, are you spending too much time at the gym? Because, like, if you've got a wife and 3 kids and all this stuff, and you're spending 3 hours, 7 days a week at the gym, I mean, that's a good amount of time. That's why balance in communication is where you have to be. That's where we should do a marriage counseling podcast. But that's the thing, is you need to talk about it. If your spouse is actually concerned about something, if Shelby came with me with a concern, she's like, hey man, I really feel like, I'm feeling neglected and I feel like this, and this, I would legitimately be concerned because I don't want her to feel like that.
Right.
Now, if I'm thinking she's being unreasonable, we might have to have a conversation like, okay, baby, I get that, but I feel like you're being a little bit unreasonable. But if you can actually have an adult conversation with an adult, it fixes all these problems. Because you may find out your spouse has merit with what they're saying. She's like, there's so many ways this could go, but it's not just one-sided. So many people are just like, my spouse doesn't support me, and she just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, where it's like, why don't you actually communicate and listen to both sides, like an actual human, and see if you can see things from their side.
So let me ask you this. So let me just give you, because a lot of people could probably relate to this. So like, let me just give you a scenario. So like, let's say you've got a husband and wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're both, mildly overweight, not obese, but the wife wants to lose weight. So she just kind of like changes everything that she's doing because she wants to be healthier. She wants to get in shape. So, she starts eating better and going to the gym. But, the husband, he's content with that, and he doesn't kind of like what she's doing because, well, he feels guilty because, he doesn't want to diet, he doesn't want to go to the gym, but my wife's doing it, so shouldn't I have to? So, like, in that case scenario, like, if you were if you're the wife in this case, what would you do to kind of bring him on board or be supportive? Because I think that's an issue that a lot of people run into, and honestly, I don't even know how I would handle that.
So first and foremost, communicate. That literally sounds like a communication issue because the wife wants to go, like in this case, the wife wants to lose 20 pounds. Husband's fat, and now he feels like he feels bad because the wife is getting lean and sexy and he's not. But all the wife sees in that scenario, because chances are they haven't had an adult conversation, the wife just sees my husband doesn't want me being here. My husband's, isn't supportive.
Right.
That conversation didn't happen. That wife needs to be like, hey, baby, listen, I don't feel like you're supporting me with this. Can we talk about this? Come in. I mean, how do you respond? How can you respond pissed? And then if the husband would actually say, you getting healthier and better in shape makes me feel bad about the way I look. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're both being honest. Now we're both, in that case, they're both being honest and they're both having a conversation.
So, what do you do with when you get to that where there's just that stark of a contrast between, because there is a very big difference in the lifestyle of someone that is, active, actively trying to weight, and then someone that just genuinely does not care about that. It really is in the day to day, what they're doing in the day, how active they are, what they're eating. That does play a big. So what do you do on that?
So part of it is I don't know.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, I don't know. But my thing is, it has to start with communication. It has to start with being communicating about it, because I feel like if you don't really start there, you're not going to get anywhere, because you don't understand context, you don't understand intention, you don't understand any of this. Because also at the end of the day, even in a marriage, you still have to do what you have to do for you. So let's say the wife wants to lose weight, the husband doesn't give a shit about how he looks. It may turn into an issue later on, but if you communicate no, wife says, I want to go lose weight. I don't care. I love you the way you are. I don't care what you want to do, but this is important to me. Husband should be supportive of that.
Right.
Now, if the husband feels pressured, in my opinion, that's on him. Maybe that's a sign he should actually get his shit together and move forward with his health, because if he feels almost backed into a corner,
right, but
the wife isn't doing anything, you see what I mean? Yeah. Whereas maybe that's a sign that he should do something with his stuff.
Right.
Because it just sounds like, an issue. Because if it bothers him that much, I would say he needs to move forward with it, I think if he's wow, no, I literally feel like I am pressured to do this because you're doing it.
Yeah.
Unless she said that, that's honestly his problem, it sounds like. Whereas, like I said, there's no way we can have a cut and dry, black and white answer with this subject. But
I would say, because I feel like most relationships, if you are actually, if you're married or you've been with the person for, if it's a new thing, if you just got a, boyfriend or girlfriend and you've been dating for 2 months, and early on it's
sure. Yeah, we're talking about though, if we're talking about married for 20 years, yeah.
Right.
But here's the other thing with it too, though, is it may be one of those things where your wife is all about fitness, husband isn't. If they can coexist, fine with that.
Right.
It's like Shelby doesn't have to love jujitsu. Shelby doesn't come watch me. She doesn't come, she doesn't do anything with it. We talk about it because she knows it's important to me. But otherwise, I can go do jujitsu without Shelby. In the same way, if it's case dependent, but if the wife really wants to go lose 20 pounds, husband doesn't give a shit, just wants to come home from work and eat.
But I guess you do kind of butt heads when it's Shelby doesn't obviously have to come to jiu-jitsu with you, but whenever you come home and, you make dinner, then you both have to eat what's...
Sure. Well, that's where, it comes down to it where, there's no reason you can't. I do this with a lot of my fat loss coaching clients, and I know you do too, with the way that we teach is there's no reason to break up the food, Wife just
Right.
like, let's say you make lasagna. Husband has 2 pieces, wife has a small piece.
Right.
Like there's stuff like that, but this is what I mean. At the end of the day, it still comes down to what's important to you and the spouse. Whereas if there's going to be some friction, well, it sounds like you need there. That's why in marriage there's some give and take. If the husband legitimately feels bad and left behind and left out because the wife is making herself better, I think would say it's the husband's responsibility to maybe he needs to get his shit in gear. And I've seen men and women do this where the wife got really into fitness and she starts going hard, and the husband starts, and then he's like, I guess I need to do something too because I feel left out. And let's say the wife goes at 100%. Now husband's going at 30%. You're still going like moving forward together though. That's why there should be any give and take, like with any relationship. Maybe that means you don't go to the gym 7 days a week, you go 5 days a week.
Right.
And the husband goes 1 day a week. That sounds like an awfully nice compromise to me. Like it's just like with anything else.
I mean, I think probably the root of it, at least in my eyes, it probably all comes back to a lack of communication. Like
100%.
you know, like if in the scenario that we just gave, like, you know, chances are the husband doesn't understand at a deep level why his wife is doing what she's doing, right? I mean, it's probably like, you know, in his eyes, you know, he's probably like, oh, you know, she wants to, you know, do this for these other reasons. But, you know, chances are it's probably not that. She probably just genuinely wants to look better and feel better for herself.
Yeah, 100%.
And, I mean, I don't know a single person out there that wouldn't support that. So I think probably at the root of everything when it comes to unsupportive individuals is communicate. Because I guarantee you, if you have a goal and you're passionate about it and you're serious about it, anyone will get behind that and they will lift you up and support you.
Well, and here's the other thing too, is when you communicate, you also have to understand the best circumstances and mental places to do it from. Do not try to communicate when you're pissed and you think your husband's not supporting you or your wife isn't supporting you. Don't try to communicate.
Yeah, so like after you make the lasagna and he's like, well, I don't want to fucking eat this. That is not the good time.
Like have you ever like I think this isn't really, maybe this is just in my brain the way to bounce off of it. It's like the best time to talk with your spouse about your sex life is not in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's like don't like if you're like talking about experimenting with stuff in the bedroom or like what she likes and you like and well maybe I might like to try this or this. Don't do that in the heat of the moment in the bedroom. You're like you may be chilling in your backyard or out to dinner and be like, hey, while I'm thinking of it, let's talk about our sex life.
Yeah. Versus
like being in the heat of the moment and you're like, hey, I want to try this, and your wife's like, I'm not going to look like a pig. Like that's whatever. There's an appropriate time and place to do it. So in the same way with this stuff, because it's so personal and so heated sometimes with like wife wants to go to the gym, husband doesn't want her to. Throwing your tights on and your shirt on and your gym bag going out getting the front door is not when he's pissed and you're frustrated is not the time to have that conversation. Wait till you're both emotionally stable. You both are good. You're not getting ready to go to the gym, or he's not just getting from home. But when the environment is right, be like, hey, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
But coming from a place of pure intention, not a place from emotion. Because what happens is, like we were talking about earlier, emotion goes up, intelligence goes down.
Yeah, and I think another big thing too, like I'm sure a lot of people, if they're running into this issue, it's probably because they've already started. But if you want to kind of like preemptively kind of prepare for that, have a conversation from the get-go. Be like, come up to your husband or wife and be like, look, over the next 6 months, I am going to really try to change the way that I do things. So, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what you can expect. And, I really would love for you to support me and stuff like that. And
here's why I'm doing it. I don't feel good in my own skin, and I want to feel, and I know if I don't feel good, don't perform as good with you as a couple. And I think this is going to help everybody. Like paint like a really good picture.
Because I think there's a big difference between going down that route and then just randomly whenever you get home from dinner, you just you're not eating the same things, and
right.
You're trying to do things, and you just randomly disappear at the gym for 2 hours a day, and they don't really know why. I think that just sets a different kind of emotion.
Don't wait till you burst either. I know a lot of couples literally wait till and they're like, man, my husband keeps making these remarks, or my wife keeps making these remarks, and it's just
that motherfucker comes home again with that protein shaker with
that
little ball and
yeah. It's like I talk about with cravings. When a craving doesn't go from a 0 to a 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, it goes from a 1.
Right. Address it before.
Address it when it's small. Be like, if let's say your spouse unintentionally makes these little snide remarks about something you're sensitive about going to the gym every day and or eating the same bland foods every day or whatever it is, don't wait till you're like, motherfucker. You know what? I think you're in and that's what happens. As soon as it starts bothering you, be like, actually, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Because like, I know it may seem like this, but like you making those statements, like this is something I'm working on is really hard, and it just when you say that, it bothers me, it hurts my feelings. I'm trying really, really hard for these reasons, and I just feel like it just bothers me. I don't know anyone in their right frame of mind who would get pissed about that. And if they do, go see a counselor. Like legitimately, if this is really bad, go see a marriage counselor. I didn't make this whole episode to be like fucking like marriage 101 with Jared and Grant.
So I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably pretty good. Well, okay, so then let's flip this from the other side real quick, and then we can move on to the next one. So like, if you are that person that like, let's say in this scenario, this is coming from the the vice perspective,
Sure.
the person that's trying to get in shape. Don't go into it thinking that because you want to do something, you then have to force your partner
Change them.
to doing what you do. Because chances are, I mean, if it's not their goal, it's not their goal.
And you can't change them.
Right. So, you know, it can go from both sides, right? So, like, if you're the person that, you know, maybe isn't supportive, you need to support them either way. So, like, if you're the person that wants to get into shape, you need to be supportive of the person if they, you know, are not wanting to.
Sure.
It goes both ways, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Nope, I agree 100%.
So, should we transition into
Transition strip time.
Sure. All right.
Last subject of the day: at home, basically workout tips for when you're working out at home. And I feel like we went to some pretty deep stuff. We went forward to what was the first thing we talked about?
Cookouts and
Yeah, we're like specific strategies to cookouts and events. But then we're like starting to go uphill. Then we're like deep marriage, relationship, like unsupported people, psychology, behavior change. And then we're just like, how to work out at home. Like, but all right, guys. So a good amount of you people watching work out at home. Nothing wrong with that. I am going to just because it gets you out and it gets you more in. You know, proximity is power. It gets you around more people who want what you want. You know, best way to get motivated is get around a bunch of motivated people.
Right.
Best way to win is get around a bunch of winners. Quit being around losers. Like your environment is a way bigger deal than most people give it credit. So,
and I think a lot of people don't really understand that. So, like in my home, there is there's a it's basically an all-encompassing Smith machine, right? So like you can literally do everything. I mean, it's basically like a in-home gym.
like
right?
a nice
It's just yeah. But that said, I never fucking use it.
well,
And I won't, because me personally, and if I told this to anyone, like if you've ever seen me in the gym or something, you would never think that I'm an unmotivated person. But if I'm at home, there is no way in hell I will go down to the basement and
right.
use that thing.
Well, here's the other thing too: is a lot of people who struggle with like procrastination and really staying focused. And I'm not getting out here to trash talk working out at home, because working out at home is so much better than not working out at all. But some things to think about why it may be beneficial and may serve you better to go to the gym is I think it's something for your mental state. Like cabin fever is a thing. You know what I mean? If you just don't ever leave your house and you're kind of like a little hermit, it can help going getting out. But also from the environment side, getting around hungry people. But also if you are one to be like not present, where if you're like I know for me, if I'm going to work out at home, it's so easy to be like, oh, I need to do laundry. Hey, I need to sweep the floor. Wait, I need to start working on this. I need to go do this. Oh, the yard needs mowed. And I will keep putting it off.
Or like whenever I do work out at home, generally what happens is I know what I need to get done, but I always somehow talk myself out of finishing it. So I always cut it short because I know like, I could start working on dinner.
Right.
I kind of want to finish that Netflix episode that I started.
Right.
So, I think that there is a lot of merit to actually going to a gym. But let's say so that's our at-home workout tip number 1. Go to a gym.
Right. Now, so let's actually get into like if you actually work out at home, because that's the thing is I know people who are I have coaching clients who are astronomically successful working out at home. So and
I just gave one of my clients, he's on a road trip somewhere.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He doesn't have access to a gym.
Yep.
So I gave him a workout that he could do with literally just body weights
Right.
and a set of bands.
Mhm.
So that would be my first workout tip number 1. So I lived out of the country for a while and I didn't have access to
You never
anything but bands, right? So you can do anything
Dude, I'm telling you,
with bands. Bands are phenomenal.
one of my best tools in the arsenal is that I get coaching clients who work out at home is bands, because one of the biggest issues that people run into at working out at home is lack of equipment and lack of resources. Because like if let's say it's a money issue, let's say you're like, you know, all you have is expensive gyms around you, or you can't necessarily afford, you know, $60 or $100 a month plus driving plus all this other stuff, whatever your situation is. So you want to work out at home to save money. Most home equipment isn't cheap. Probably your big setup was probably close to at least $1,000 or plus. Just a set of Bowflex dumbbells was like $500 or $800.
It gets expensive.
Even a TRX, even a set of TRX straps is like a good $150. Even though I think they're one of the best things you can get at home too. But like that's the thing is I've got coaching clients who have nicer gyms than like the one I go to in their garage.
Right.
Like they've got like squat racks and Smith machines and plates and dumbbells and pull-up racks, and all, like the whole 9 yards. So, but one of the best things you can add to your arsenal is resistance bands, whether it be the ones that look like giant rubber bands or the ones with handles on each side.
Yep.
Because the thing is, in the world of body weight exercises, there's a whole sector of exercises that are left out. Because in the world of body weight exercises, you've got squat variations, lunge variations, overall leg variations. But I'm not sure it's here. But then you have like push-up variations and dip variations. We should have lost the light though. And dip variations. But the problem is you don't have any pulling variations. Like that's a big problem is you don't have anything to work your back unless you can do pull-ups, and assuming you have an appropriate place to do them. But most people can't do pull-ups. So that's the thing is you have to get the pulling exercises in, especially from a muscular and not being imbalanced and actually having your posterior side strong.
Yeah, you don't want to create that.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck that up. So resistance bands, they are like literally $7 to $20 at like the grocery store or Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
Because now you can station them on the floor. You can literally do high row variations, put them at the top of the door. You can do single arm stuff, you can do double arm stuff, you can do elbow out stuff, elbow in stuff. You can do curls and tricep extensions. You can do pullovers. You can do face pulls. You can do bent over rows. You can do deadlifts. You can do.
And you can even do so like if you were tired of doing body weight squats, you can even take a handle on each side, hold it, step on it, and then add resistance.
Yeah,
I mean literally anything.
Your arsenal of you didn't just add an exercise or two. Like if you go buy a curl machine for like $700, it does curls and that's it. You go buy a set of resistance bands, you literally just jumped your arsenal up by hundreds of exercises.
Right. I mean that's one thing. Like if someone asked me, and it would be a no-brainer too, if someone said you can only have one thing, you can buy one thing to work out with the rest of your life.
Bands,
bands.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is most companies now, because a lot of people will be like, oh, Jared, I'm too strong for that bullshit. Now they have companies that have like, you can buy the resistance band sets that have like a carabiner system where like the ends of the bands don't have the handles, they have carabiners on it, and your handles have carabiners. Yeah, and you literally could add like a 5-pound band, a 20-pound band, and a 50-pound band, equaling like, you put as many as you want on there. It's I don't remember.
85, I think.
Yeah, you literally can add like let's say you have 20-pound bands, put 5 of them on there. You have 100 pounds of resistance now. Then you do that with one arm. Like you've got so many things that from just a creativity standpoint is your biggest issue. But then you could go to this really cool machine called Google, be like weird band exercises, and you're gonna find some weird circus shit. But that's the thing. At home tip, my favorite is get a few sets of resistance bands, and once you get too strong, buy more. I mean, it's super simple.
So yeah, resistance bands would be my number one tip.
Then what else? What are any other things that your go-to?
I mean, so are we talking about like things that we could do or things that we could buy?
Just tips for working out at home.
So tips for working at home. Have a designated spot.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Really?
Yeah, because not just having not just having a designated spot, but also being extremely focused. Because
so like basically when you step foot in this little area, even if it's just a little section of your living room, when you step in there, that means business. That means that we're not fucking with the TV. We're not worrying about watering the plants. We are in the workout zone, so we're going to work.
That's the biggest struggle that most people you guys are going to have trying to work out at home is you are going to be overloaded with distractions, whether that be your kid trying to sleep in the other room while you're doing jump squats. That may be your dog that's sniffing your face while you're doing push-ups. That may be your house needs cleaned, but you want to get your workout in because this is the only time today you're going to get it in, or whatever the case is. So you have to understand that you have to be all business. I don't care if it's 20 minutes. Get in, get out. Because the other benefit to home workouts, you don't have to drive to the gym, you don't have to drive from the gym, and you don't have to talk to weird gym people like us. Which means you can get in, get your workout done, and stop. Honestly, what I would do, I would go get, I would literally turn on a timer on your phone or get like an old school kitchen timer and be like, these are my magical 20 minutes. Go. And now you have your magical 20 minutes where you just get work done. And then once that 20 minutes is over, you're done. But otherwise, again, it goes back to control what you can control, because a lot of times people are like, well, Jared, I don't have a Smith machine. I don't have dumbbells. I don't have this. There's excuses. You know what's ironic is everything is there at the same time. There are excuses if you want to make them. There are resources if you want to use them. There are reasons to succeed. There are reasons to fail. There are reasons to get hurt. There are reasons for everything in all places at all times. But we get what we look for. Right. So if you're choosing to work out at home, there are reasons to win and resources to move forward. But there are also reasons and resources to fail. So it's a matter of controlling what you can control. You can't control the fact that you don't have $10,000 worth of equipment, but you do control the fact that you have 2 legs and you can squat. Right. That you can do push-ups. You can do elevated push-ups on your couch. You can, if you're even super weak, you can do counter push-ups. You can go to wall push-ups. You can do step-ups on your couch to take your shoes off. You can do run to your mailbox, high five it, and run back. I mean, you have all sorts of resources at your fingertips, but it's a matter of what are you looking for.
Yeah, and then so kind of one of my other ones that I think kind of goes well with that. So like there is something to be said. So like if for the most part people generally speaking don't work at home, right? So like think of it like this: you would never be in the same mindset going to work if you stayed in your pajamas. So one of my big tips too is to whatever the hell you're wearing right now, don't wear that when you go work out. Literally dress like, basketball shorts and stuff. Dress the part as if you were going to physically leave your home and go to a gym. Don't give your mind a reason to latch on to what you were doing 10 minutes ago because you're in the same location. Give it something new.
Neurological association, guys, is a real thing. Like, to give you guys a little bit of an idea, one reason people struggle with sleep is because they do too much in their bedroom. They have a TV in their bedroom, so we'll call that entertainment. You've got sleep in your bedroom. You've got sex in your bedroom. You might eat in your bedroom. You might catch up on work and do paperwork or grade papers or work on your photo business in your bed because it's comfy. I just listed 5 or 6 things that you do in your bed that are everything from work to sleep to romance to entertainment to food and survival. So when you go into your bedroom, you got some different associations neurologically speaking, versus like when you go in your bedroom, it should only be about sleep and sex. It should be a fucking bat cave. It should be a sleep sanctuary is what from a neurological association side, your bedroom should be about. So what happens, just like Grant said, if you're you woke up in your pajamas and you go do your work on your pajamas, and then you work from home and then you go do your work in your pajamas, you might have some motivation issues because you may have, if you're neurologically in bedtime mode, it's going to be hard to get fired up to work out. Right. Versus if you go online, go to Under Armour, get yourself a new Under Armour tank top and some new Under Armour shorts or tights or whatever it is you like to wear, get yourself some new shoes, get yourself a new pair of headphones. And I promise, just changing the way you look will instantly make you feel better. Because when you have that designated spot and you have the clothes that you're wearing, your brain will be like, all right, it's time to get in here and actually go mode. Man, when I move that ottoman over, it is go time. Versus whenever you're staying in your pajamas and you're like, maybe we're going to go to the kitchen and do it this time. Maybe we're going to go to the bedroom and do it this time. Right. Then it's like, your brain's just like, all right, are we really, motivated to do this? Yeah. Probably not. No, I like that. That's a really good one. Because so much of changing your mindset is you change your physiology or like your physical, if you will. For example, when most people, when they talk about things they're uncomfortable with and they're not feeling very good, they cross their arms, they drop their shoulders, they start slouching and their head drops. It is really hard to feel confident looking like this. Right. Like it is really hard for me to feel good while my physiology is like this. So, but if you're, but if like you're open, your chest is up, your head is up, your shoulders are back, and you move, that's one of the best things you can do is go do 20 jumping jacks, go for a run, change your state, change your physical state, which includes your physical clothes.
Mhm.
So
I mean, so big in-home tips: bands, have a designated spot, change your attire, get in the what's the word for that? Get in the mindset of wanting to actually go work out.
Yep.
And so for those of you, if I seem like I'm out of it, I'm trying to cut back on caffeine.
way too extreme.
I drink a copious amount of coffee, and I've drastically cut that, so I don't feel the best right now.
All right, let's get into some Q&A.
Yeah, so those three, I think that's a good way to.
Yeah, no, that's good. Let's get into a little bit of Q&A. Basically, before we did this, I like 40 minutes ago hopped on my Instagram story and I'm like, hey bitches, ask us some questions. So we got a few. Let's see. Guys, no question. Just appreciate for you guys showing us the healthy lifestyle, not just dieting. There we go. Tips for lean bulking. That's a good one. That's a little bit off.
Okay. So I mean,
Go for it.
for lean bulking, so and here's the thing too. I think not lean bulking or just regular bulking is fucking stupid.
Right.
There is just no fucking reason to do it. Let me tell you why. So when you're doing that, you're literally just getting fat. You need to be in a.
Wait, you mean if I gain 17 pounds in a week?
Yeah,
That's not all muscle.
It's
If I
not muscle.
add 2 inches to my arms in 2 weeks, that's not muscle.
Right. So like in terms of lean bulking, like you and see like technically without getting like super into the science, you don't even really have to be in a calorie surplus, if that makes sense.
Well, optimally you would, ideally.
So I mean, so like the optimally you would, but so like people take that to the extreme. Like they think that you need to have
17,000 calories.
Yeah,
a day.
17. So I mean, like, I really don't like. So the big ones are like you need excess protein or nitrogen. You need water, and there's a couple of other little things that you can sprinkle in the bag. But point being, to eat copious amounts of calories. Like if you're getting fat, you're doing a bulk wrong.
Well, let me chime in on this. There is no difference between lean bulking food and dirty bulking food. Where people I see go wrong because they have horrible food relationships.
Yeah.
They think there's good food, bad food, inherent, whatever bullshit. They have like their lean bulk food. Boiled chicken, rice, and broccoli, and they just eat that in copious amounts. But then you've got your dirty bulking food. Pop-Tarts, gummy bears, donuts, all that. But as I've proven on the Daily Donut, I'm down 30 pounds and I incorporate donuts into my diet every single day. So like there's no dirty bulk food, clean bulk food. If you're trying to put on tissue, lean muscle tissue, and with minimizing fat, you don't go to any extreme. People will go for a maintenance calorie amount of, let's say 2,000, just to make numbers easy, and they will eat 3,500 calories plus and just have no regard for their nutrition. In the same way, if you're trying to diet, you want to be just a 300 to 500 calories under maintenance, just a slow diet. Bulking is no different. You want to be, if you're going to go into a calorie surplus, 300 to 500 calories into a surplus. Because anything beyond that, you're more than likely just going to store fat.
I mean, so this is kind of how I
and you still need it, and it's still good to track though. Like I get things can be a little more lenient if you're not dieting, in a deficit. But like most people are eating fast food every day. They eat like 10,000 calories. They have like their binge days 7 days a week, and they call it dirty bulking, bro. It's like no, you're just getting fat.
Right. So I mean, like I guess because I kind of ran it. So don't completely cut out cardio. I think that's a huge mistake that people make. You will not want to do the same amount of cardio that you're doing when you're cutting. But don't completely cut it out. I think that's it's important for your cardiovascular health, but that'll also kind of help you stay a little bit lean too as you're bulking. So the foods that you eat while you're dieting, eat the exact same foods, but just eat more of it. And I think that's
but not much though. In the same way, we don't do extreme diets where you're eating 1,000 calories a day or in 1,000 calorie deficit. We don't go into 1,000 calorie surplus. We know if your body can't burn, like if someone's maintenance is 2,000 calories, we don't suggest eating 800 calories. And because the body can't burn fat that fast. The body can't build muscle that fast, or can't burn fat that fast. It can't build tissue that fast.
Right.
You'll see guys like do a bodybuilding show, or you'll see guys diet forever or whatever, and then they're like, I eat 7,000 calories a day and I gained 15 pounds of tissue in 2 months. No, you didn't. Now you just are hydrated, you have water in your system, you have food in your gut, and now you also got a little fat, more than likely. But that's the thing is it's the same thing. Mild deficit, mild surplus.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Literally it.
But yeah, so I mean, and you know, you got to think too, like, if you are putting on 20 pounds of fat to get, so like maybe you will put on more muscle, right? Let's just say that maybe you will put on more muscle. Like, so if you put on 25 pounds of fat, maybe you could put on 5 pounds of muscle. But if you did it as a lean bulk, maybe you put on 2 pounds of fat, but you still get about like 3 to 4 pounds of muscle.
Sure. Understand this though. Get the proper expectations from the get-go. We'll put it this way. If the steroided out the ass bodybuilders who compete at the Mr. Olympia, who bodybuilding and being a giant muscle head is their fucking job, and they have the best coaches in the world, and they don't have a job outside of bodybuilding, and they literally have meal prep companies, and they have every supplement and every steroid, anabolic steroids they want, and they have the best genetics on top of it. They have the most optimal package, and they gain 6 pounds of tissue per year. 6 to 10 pounds. Would that not be a pretty accurate number?
Yeah.
Like somewhere around 6 to 10 pounds of muscle tissue in a year.
Yeah.
In a full year. I promise you, your 15 pounds you gained in 2 weeks is bullshit. Is literally water. That gallon of water you drank, there's 8 pounds of it. The food that's sitting in your stomach ready to be shit out, and body fat, and maybe this much muscle tissue. I'm telling you, it is so much harder to build a massive amount of tissue at once. And if you look at the best in the world, are building 6 to even, okay, let's even throw in that 20 pounds of tissue a year. 20 pounds of mass in 365 days.
That's a lot.
Us normal people who are not on gear, who are eating normal foods and enjoying our little journey, that have jobs and stress and lack of sleep and all this other stuff, it's not going to be like that. We have to get our expectations in order.
Right.
So, all right. Next one. Sorry, we got off on that one.
That
was a good question.
You know, honestly, I think we should actually, because I wouldn't, because I'm sure some people will be like, coming on here and be like, oh, you motherfucker, you said that you can build muscle in a deficit. I'll actually like get the sciencey shit like on hand so I can articulate that a little bit better. But it's actually kind of cool whenever you like read the in-depth. Like,
well, and that's the thing is, like, even like just stating the fact that you can 100% build muscle tissue in a deficit. Now, I will say it's not as optimal as in a calorie surplus, but it's still totally be done.
Yeah.
You know,
like, and I don't want people to think like, so if your maintenance is like, I don't know, 3,000 calories, and you're like, so you mean to tell me that I can build muscle eating 900 a day? No, I mean, you're gonna fucking waste away. You're gonna,
yeah, no shit.
No, but so like I said, but maybe we should do that. Maybe that would be a cool topic next week.
Yeah,
like how to properly bulk.
Next question: is your body still burning fat on a rest day?
Yes,
100%. Because here's the thing, guys. Stop worrying about what fuel system your body's using. At the end of the day, all that matters is calories in versus calories out. You don't have to worry about if your body's oxidizing fat, or if it's burning glucose, or if it's burning saturated fat, or any of that. Or if like, well, what if I eat carbs? Does that mean I'm not burning and oxidizing fat? Stop. Well, this form of cardio burns less calories, but more of those calories from fat. Well, this version of cardio burns more calories, but less fat. Stop. There's so much more under the skin molecularly going on that you have no fucking idea. So what I'm saying is, don't even worry about that, because here's the thing. I want you to take 2 fingers, put them on the side of your neck, and if you feel a mild thumping, that's your heart rate, that's your heart beating. Congratulations, you are burning calories right now. That's all it is if there's this little cheesy saying that I've always liked. It's if your heart is beating, you should still be eating, because like people stop eating at late at night because I came out because people were like, oh, I quit burning calories because it's 6 p.m. and my enzymes checked down. I'm like, no, your heart's beating, you should still be eating.
Wow, so you actually like after so 9 o'clock, that's the cutoff. At 9:01, that's when your body turns into a fat storing machine.
See, you say that joking, but there are people on here that don't think you're serious. Grant's fucking joking, guys. But no, that's the thing is you are always burning calories. Understand this. Most of the calories you burn on a day-to-day are non-exercise calories. They're called NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's basically the calories you burn as just a normal human.
When you do this,
Fidgeting,
maintaining homeostasis, all the stuff that's going on.
Like I've been playing with a pen for the past hour. This is burning calories. When you take a shit, you're burning calories. When you go and get a shower, you're burning calories. When you go get groceries, you're burning calories. These are non-exercise calories. You're not at the gym. Your body doesn't know when you're in the gym. Okay, so that's why on rest days or any of that, that's why it's a matter of that's why one of the most important things with fat loss is getting your nutrition in check. Of course, workouts are important, but yes, because you are 100% still burning calories and body fat, to answer that question in layman's terms, on rest days.
And understand, so a lot of people, I understand that they feel guilty, so to speak. Like I've actually, before I kind of got into this, I used to feel guilty having a rest day. But understand that rest days are probably as important as...
It's like sleep, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a day that your body is needing to repair. I mean, if you're just, hammering your muscles day in and day out, and you don't give them any time to recover, you're doing more damage than you are doing anything that's going to benefit you.
Next, how do you guys keep up the positive spirit in your relation? I guess a relationship. I struggle with ups and downs.
Like with food?
I don't know. I think it's just general, how do you stay positive? I actually just did a podcast on this. One of my favorite podcasts I've ever done. I went really in depth on this. If you guys want to check it out, we'll still touch on it.
Sure.
So, Grant, how do you stay positive, especially with struggling with ups and downs?
I mean, so for me, I think what I have to do personally is just take a giant step back and see that, these downs typically are very minor things. They're not something that's going to be, everlasting. So just you have to look at it in the grand scheme of things that, this bad thing happened today, but that has no bearing on tomorrow. Yesterday was good. Why should today be shit?
Well, and here's the other thing too, guys. I get asked this a lot, how do I stay so fired up and positive? First of all, I'm not. I mean, I try my best to be as positive as I can, and I'm probably I have the epitome of blind positivity. Glass is always not just half full; it's fucking overflowing with donuts. But the thing is, it's a choice, guys. Because here's the thing: we're all gonna have days that are bad. We're gonna wake up and feel like shit, have no reason. But understanding that it's okay to experience bad emotions. Now, living in it perpetually is not good. But if we were on cloud 9 every day, it would not feel like cloud 9 anymore. So just experiencing negative emotions, like having a bad day, it makes your positive day seem even better. But the other thing too is so much of being positive, in my opinion, is 100% choice.
It is.
It's like you love your kid, even though your kid can be a fucking little shit, but you still choose to love your kid. It's the same thing. I may have hell raining down on me, but I'm choosing to be positive, choosing to be offensively positive, that I'm no, I'm more blessed than I could possibly ask for. On my worst day, I have an iPhone, food in my fridge, a house, and a fucking studio lighting and mics in front of me. On my worst day, I'm not worried about where I'm getting fed. On my worst day, I've still got 2 legs under me. On my worst day, my heart beats without me telling it to.
Well, because look at it like this.
Perspective.
You'll have your days, I'm sure you've had those, where something little that should not piss you off pisses you off.
Sure.
And then I guarantee you that same thing happens to you, frequently. But that typically probably does not piss you off. What your mentality is, every other moment of that day is going to affect how much that bothers you. So if you were just kind of overwhelmingly positive, during the good, then when the bad happens, it's not going to be as bad.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and this also has to do with what we practice too, and what our habits are. Because even my habit that's taken a long time to cultivate is, even on my bad days, I still am grateful. I still count my blessings, so to speak, and I still go back in my head and fight emotion with logic. I'm no, literally on my best day, I have food. On my worst day, my fridge is full. On my worst day, my water is on. On even your worst day, most of you have a smartphone that connects you all over the world. just putting things in perspective and expressing gratitude is a game changer for sure. And making that a habit is bigger too. Let's do one.
That was a
more.
good question.
Yeah, let's do one or two more. If I don't hit my macros every day, but I am for calories, is that okay in the beginning?
Okay, all right.
So hitting calories, but some days not hitting macros is what they're asking.
Oh, okay. I took that a different way. So I've actually seen this a few times recently. Understand that like protein, carbs, 1 gram of each of those is 4 calories, and then 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So your macros always have to.
They should be lined up.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like I'm gonna eat 100 grams of carbs and then get 800 calories like that.
Let me put some context in here. I think where this, because I get this a lot too. I think where this question comes from is people plug in their data to MyFitnessPal, and MyFitnessPal says, okay, 1,200 calories in this breakdown.
Oh,
and then what happens is they're like, well, I stayed under my calories, but I didn't eat enough carbs and I overate my fats.
Right.
I think that's where this kind of question comes from.
Okay. I mean, so like, you know, the big thing is, so nothing is going, so like whenever I hear a question like that, I'm assuming this person's trying to like put on tissue. Because, right.
I hear a lot of fat loss.
Oh, dude. Well, so I mean, it goes both ways. So like, you know, I would always say like try to hit your protein, but like, you know, your ratio of carbs to fats at the end of the day doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, you will know how you respond to carbs, and you will know how you respond to fats. So, you know, adjust accordingly. Like whenever I give out my programming for my clients with nutrition, I always will give them a fixed protein number. Like I want you to hit this number,
like 150 grams.
Yeah, and then you know the remainder of your 2,000 calories. You know, if you're wanting to eat more carbs, eat more carbs. If you're wanting to eat more fats, eat more fats. Just stay within your calories.
Guys, and that's the thing is that, so long story short is if your total calories and protein are in check, you're fine. There is no, if your total calories and protein are in check, there is no going over carbs or going over fats.
Right.
You just want to we have functions that run off of all three protein, fats, and carbs, and we want to have all of them. So, all right, let's do one more.
Yeah, so like, what was that? So it doesn't really matter. Like one day, I think that said, what was that question?
If I don't hit my macros every day, but I aim for calories, is it okay in the beginning?
Yeah. So just, you know, get your protein and then.
Unless that one macro is protein. Because then over time, if someone's just in a deficit and never hitting their protein intake, they'll lose a lot of tissue.
Right.
So protein, you got to be careful, make sure you hit that. That's why protein is the mac daddy of the carbs. But if calories and protein are equated, you're fine.
Yep.
Last one. On adjusting calories for a steady weight fat loss, on adjusting calories for steady weight fat loss and when to diet break. Oh, on adjusting calories for a steady weight and when to diet break.
So are they saying like when you've kind of plateaued, so to speak, when do you?
I'm not sure. So some of these questions, guys, I'm not. Sometimes that's the one bad thing about little short Q&A boxes is there's not a lot of content you can put in there. I think it's basically when to diet. We'll do that. When to diet break.
I mean, boy, you need a lot of context with that one. I guess like why are you breaking from your diet? I mean, are you plateauing or are you? So I have two different answers for that. So when to diet break or when to come out of your deficit, because I think a lot of people misunderstand a diet break and they go, I'm going to diet break and they binge, versus like, no, I'm going to come up to maintenance calories. Because here's the thing, guys, if like you've been dieting and you want number one plateau, like truly plateau, or you can. Here's guys, at any time you can come out of your deficit and eat maintenance anytime you want. You don't have to be in a deficit for 6 months. I wouldn't suggest it. But if like let's say you're just getting mentally drained and you just don't feel very good, there's nothing wrong at any time going from your deficit and eating maintenance. Right, but just don't use that as an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, because if at the end of the day, for the past 6 months, you've been eating maintenance and you haven't lost and now you're pissed, well, it's because you've been eating maintenance. But like, let's say you dieted for 6 weeks and you're just like feeling like low energy, you're not sleeping well, and it's a rough time with school and kids. There's nothing wrong with adding 500 calories back to your diet and eating maintenance, especially to make your day-to-day better. And then once the rough time passes or you feel better, go back down. They're totally okay with that. But I would say like, you know, when progress starts to slow down, and when your body's acclimating to new calorie ranges, assuming that's what happened. Because truly, the only time your body acclimates to new calorie ranges is when you been consistent with lower calorie ranges. If you're diet breaking every other week, your body's not going to acclimate to lower calorie ranges.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything to add to that necessarily. I think you covered that pretty well. But so are there any more? Or?
I think that's it for right now. So we'll leave it at that. But
All right.
so we've been going for about an hour and 10.
Should we have
Yeah.
about fast?
Well, it's a lot faster than Facebook does it kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Today's episode of Dieting and Donuts with Jared and
Great.
So we do this every Thursday. This week was a little weird, and we had to do it a little bit earlier. We're just posting the link. So yeah.
But next week, I think we're going to be getting back on track,
Yeah.
or at least trying to.
Yeah, trying to. So awesome, guys. I appreciate you being here. I know. So if you ever need anything, never hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
See you.